Hello everyone and welcome to an Analyst League. I will be your host Vic Sharp-Watney, and welcome to my new show. So with this being the first video, kind of a brief introduction, what the show is going to be about, what we're looking to do. So this is going to try and take a more in-depth look at some of the different things that happen in professional League of Legends. Different teams, different events, look at the stats, look at the standings, kind of overarchingly look at everything that contributes. Try not to just focus on one player, not focus on one aspect, but look at everything. What do the stats tell us? What do the results tell us? And what predictions can we make based off that? So, with that kind of brief introduction out of the way, welcome to the first video. I figured a Worlds preview would be a perfect way to start this series out. With the group draw just being done, we have a great chance now with a couple weeks before the championship starts to really look at these teams, see where they stand, see maybe what teams have the best chance to advance, and what better way to start that than with Group A. So for those of you that missed the draw, haven't seen it, Group A consists of North American number 1 CounterLogic Gaming, the LMS number 2, the Flash Wolves, the LCK number 2, the Coup Tigers, and the International World Qualifier Wildcard Pain Gaming from Brazil. So the way we're going to kind of do this preview is we're going to look at an overview of how each team performed kind of in the summer, maybe going back a little further if there's key events that happened. We're going to look at some key different wins and losses that these teams suffered or had, and some X factors for these teams coming in. So what better way to start than with the top? The group from Pool 1, CLG. They had their best ever finish in North America, not only finishing second in the regular season, but finally getting that big stage experience, going to MSG, beating TSM 3-0, beating TIP 3-0. That 6-0 playoff record should be a massive boost for this CounterLogic Gaming team heading into Worlds. But the biggest question is their experience. So many of these players, it's their first big stage. Everyone always made fun of Doublelift trophy case. He's Zion Spartan bounced around teams now for a little bit. Poe Belter, the pickup in the mid lane once Link left. The synonymous CLG potential mid laner. So this team has a lot to prove. And kind of looking back at the regular season, we hit a midway point and, they were looking good. They were number 1 and the oh no, what's happening again happened. They lost to Liquid, TSM, Gravity, and Tip 4 weeks in a row, or 2 weeks in a row, 4 games, and CLG fans had to start, oh no, it's happening again. And that brings kind of their key win of the season for me was that week 8 victory against Liquid. They had broken the streak, they had beaten, I think, Enemy and TDK, so not really very representative games. But then to come back and beat Liquid like they did just kind of solidified maybe it's not happening again. This team is for real. This team has a chance. And looking at CLG, if you have to say there's a key loss, that TIP loss, the 4th in that 4-game losing streak, had to be kind of disheartening for CLG. Yes, okay, Liquid, a good team. They finished first in the regular season. TSM, historically, lately very good against CLG, not a surprising loss. Gravity, that was when they were starting to look better. Yes, TIP was on a winning streak at that point, but that was a middle-of-the-line team. That was a team CLG needed to beat, and especially when they're on a losing streak like that, to prove they can come back from it. And losing that game, I think, is what started to set some of the oh-no factors off on CLG. Now, a lot of people are going to say, obviously, the MSG final against TSM was a key win. TSM wasn't looking great. I mean, they had shown at different parts in the season some errors in pick ban, and CLG seemed to have been remedying their pick ban. They had started to get better. They were starting to look cohesive. And I actually believe CLG was, in my mind, favored heading into that. It wasn't a high favorite, probably 60-40, but it was a favorite. Were they going to 3-0? Hell no. How the heck are you going to 3-0 TSM in a final? But COG showed they have that big game potential right now. They have that something that those winning teams seem to pull out when the situation requires it of them. And so it's interesting to look at that. But I think the real X factor is, obviously a lot of people are going to say the X-Smithy substitution. Can He come in? Can he be a jungler? They kind of got lucky. They didn't get that bad of a jungler group. It could have been much worse for CLG. But I really think their X factor is going to be Zion, Spartan, and Doublelift. These are the two guys CLG looks upon to carry them. Everyone remembers kind of just a flash moment, that pentakill in the LCS final. Doublelift just going crazy, ending the game off of it. He's going to have to be that for CLG again. Zion Spartan, this is the top lane meta right now. This is the top lane dominance. Zion Spartan's going to have a big role on his hands. But when it comes down to CLG, and this has been how it's been historically, Doublelift is their guy. Zion Spartan gives them a dual threat. Paul Belcher can every now and then give them a triple threat. Doublelift is the guy. He is their X factor. He has to perform well for them to do well in this tournament. So COG, number one seed in this group. They probably got arguably the easiest group. Does that mean they're guaranteed? No. This is CLG we're talking about. This is Worlds we're talking about. Anything, everything can happen. So, with that, we'll move on to that second team that got drawn in the group, the Flash Wolves. Not Yowie, the Flash Wolves. So, a team that finished, first in the LMS spring. They finished second in the final. They went to IEM Katowice and kind of shocked the international world. They weren't supposed to perform that well. But then AHQ came and beat them in the spring final, and that kind of looked shaky for the Flash Wolves. That's when AHQ started their dominance, and the Flash Wolves became second fiddle. And that's a key, even though it was in the spring final, I think that's a key loss for the Flash Wolves, because we didn't see that same dominance out of them again after that. Then they go and finish second in the summer season behind AHQ. Kind of what you expect of this team. This team's a good veteran team. A few of their members have been to this World Championship stage before. They've got this experience. They've shown that they can do well in international events. I think they lost to Hong Kong Esports in the summer semis. Hurt a little bit. I think it's not as bad of a loss to AHQ, especially when they kind of quelled those demons in the gauntlet run by defeating Hong Kong Esports. So this Flash Wolves team kind of feels like they may have something to prove. They're not the dominant LMS team that they were kind of in when they went into Katowice, and they've shown that they can perform well on the big international stage. Both the LMS teams have at different points in this year. I think it would be very, very wrong to underestimate this Flash Wolves team in this group. The X factor for this team isn't going to be someone on the team. It's going to be how do the other teams treat them. Do the other teams, do CLG, do the Coup Tigers underestimate them? Do they just slightly mistaken them for an easy win? And I think if they do, then that's a win for the Flash Wolves. That is a chance for the Flash Wolves to really show what they're made of and to pull some upsets in this group and really give themselves a chance to advance. Do I think they're a favorite to advance? No. I mean, they've played well. They're a good team. You're in a group with Coup and CLG. I don't think I could call you favored. Do they have a chance? Oh, yes. They have a very strong style of play. They have some different members that can really take control of games at different times. And I think they're going to give these teams a lot of trouble in Group A. This is a really good draw for the Flash Wolves, too. They get Coup out of the Korean teams. They get, yes, CLG, okay, of the North American teams, that's probably the one you don't want at the moment. But they get Coup, they get Pain Gaming. It could have been worse for the Flash Wolves. I think this group gives them a really solid chance to advance. They're guaranteed? No. Can they advance? Of course. Moving to the third team in this group, the Coup Tigers. I believe Coup might actually be the favorite team in this group. Now, before North American fans go crazy on me, CLGs in this group, whatever, Coup are a very meta-dependent team. They've shown it in the spring when they just collapsed after Katowice. And I think that gives them a lot to prove. They finished fourth in the summer season. They had a good run there in the middle of the season where they were on a winning streak until they ran into SKT. They finished third in the playoffs. They had that really clean, good series against CJ. I think that's their key win right now heading in. That series against CJ where it was 3-0 in games like Game 2 wasn't even close. They just destroyed them. I think if Coup has a key loss, it has to be week 12 of the LCK against Jin Air. This was one of the last weeks of the season. Coup was kind of clinched into their spot. It wasn't guaranteed, but it was expected. And then Jin Air comes in here and 2-1s them. Not the biggest thing in the world, but what we saw from Jin Air towards the end of the season makes you a little worried for the Coup Tigers. But they ended up playing cleanly in playoffs. They played well. They played really well against CJ, and then a little iffy against KT Volster. They did enough to qualify in on circuit points. This Coup team's X factor is Prey. His positioning at times, when they're winning, it's the old Prey. His positioning is good. His positioning is what an AD carry needs to do. Smeb can take over games at times. This whole team has a chance to do really well. But Prey's positioning, when they lose, or when they lose bad, Prey gets caught out. Gorilla gets caught out. This team is very dependent on their vision, very dependent on their positioning. Can their carries, can their big names stay calm and not get caught out in a big moment, not misposition in a big team fight? That's Coup's X factor here. If they can keep it clean, play a controlled game, play their style, this meta fits them. It gives Smeb chances to carry. It gives Prey slightly safe champions. This meta fits them. This is a not great meta for them, but it's a bracket meta for them. They're not going to storm the world and make it to the finals. They can make it out of this group. I think they're favored to make it out of this group. Just from what we've seen of the teams in this group, so far in the past couple weeks or so, or since we've last seen this team. Now, I think one of the most interesting teams in this group, even though I haven't been able to see them play very much, is the international wildcard Pain Gaming. They finished third in the regular season and then destroyed. They were close games, but 3-0'd Inns in that winter final. That was a big win for them. Inns had their number in the regular season. They beat them both times, I believe, they played. And then for Pain to come in 3-0 was big. It gave them a bunch of momentum heading into the wild card tournament, and they showed it. They, I think, controlled that tournament very well. They're a team kind of like the Flash Wolves. I don't know enough about their individual players to pull an X-Factor player out. But if they get underestimated, they can steal some games. They can easily win some games here. Can they advance easily? No. Are they going to lose every game? No. I think every team in this group can win at least 1 or 2 games. I strongly believe that. But the thing for Pain is they kind of need one of these top teams to not look in form. They need an EDG from last Worlds to kind of show up in this group to really have a good shot to advance. I think they can. I don't think it's likely. We've seen these wildcard teams pull the upset. Everyone remembers the Kaboom from last year. Pain, I think, has the chance to do that on a more regular basis, but I don't think you should expect it from this team. I think, yes, they're going to win a couple games. Yes, they're going to be competitive. I don't think they're going to be as competitive as to advance in the group. But it'll be interesting to see. I think Group A is one of the more interesting groups in this Worlds draw because, like I said, every team can win a game. Every team can't be underestimated. The Flash Wolves can show up big and advance. Pain can show up and either play spoiler or even play competition to some of these big names. This is a group with the one massive name, CLG, the kind of upstart Koreans in Coup, the revitalized veterans, I guess you could say, and the Coup Tigers. You have the Flash Wolves, who have shown up big in international play. Everyone's kind of been waiting to see that level come out again. I think they have a really good shot to show that level. I don't think we should expect that level from them this time. And then Pain, who can easily take, big fandom in Brazil. This is a solid team. This is a team that can very easily be really competitive and just scare some teams, if not beat some teams. And with that, I think the last part of this video is going to be something I kind of want to run, what I believe the team's chances to advance are. Now, this isn't necessarily first place, second place. This is who can advance, who can get in that top 2 spot. And like I said when I was doing their team overview, I think Coup Tigers is favored in this group to advance. I think this should be, if they play the way they've been playing the playoffs, the way they played kind of the middle half of the second round in Korea, I think they have about an 80% chance to make it out of this group, which is by far, I think, the highest in this group. So I think CLG's next. I have them at about a 60-65% chance to advance because I'm not sure how the lack of massive stage experience will hurt this team. It didn't affect them in MSG. If that same CLG shows up at Worlds, that chance goes way up past 65. I think they then become favored over Coup. We have to see what CLG shows up. We have to see who he's going to play. Can Doublelift carry this team? Can Zion Spartan be that secondary carry this team desperately needs so Doublelift doesn't get focused? I said the Flash Wolves have a chance to advance. I think they're about 50-50. I really think they can advance. I don't think they should be favored to. They can. I would be not surprised at all if it's Flash Wolves and Coup, if it's a Flash Wolves and CLG. Not at all. I really think the Flash Wolves have a shot to pull the unexpected advance in this group for the World Championships. And that kind of leads us to Pain. Like I said, do I expect them to advance? No. I would probably give them about a 20% chance or so to advance out of this group because it's kind of dependent on what do the other teams show up. They need maybe Coup to look bad or CLG to look bad. They need to win some of those competitive games that they're going to be in. And so just so you don't have to remember all those numbers, just really quick, brief overlay up here, cover me all up. Coup Tigers at 80%, CLG at 65%, the Flash Wolves at 50%, and Pain Gaming at 20%. So with that will be my Group A preview for the World Championships. Stay tuned, guys. Next time on the league, we head to Group B. See you guys on the Rift.